Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be going over the higher time frame candles and how to position yourselves correctly with the 10 a.m. candle and what to do if it is going to be a reversal or a continuation on that 10 a.m. candle. Let's do this. I have an idea. So how I like to do this is by dividing the three candles, right, into three different parts. So I name one candle, right, the accumulation candle, right? And this what people call it. People call this the accumulation, or the candle one, right? You might have heard people say candle one, candle two, and then candle three. So let's say for me, this is the accumulation candle, which is candle one, and I'll just name this candle one. Candle two, right, is going to be the manipulation candle. We can do this manipulation candle. Right, so we manipulate this accumulation high, or the candle one. This is going to be the accumulation or the manipulation candle, and this will be candle two. Now this is a little advanced because you're trading specifically swing points. I'm going to try to explain it the best I possibly can, right, in a very, very simple way, with like how I'm teaching a beginner. Not like a beginner, but just like, because everything is so connected, I'm going to try explaining it in a way that you don't need everything, right? I'm just going to try teaching it in a way where you can just learn it by itself. So this would be candle two, where it would be the manipulation candle, right? Because why would it be the manipulation candle? Because we take out the accumulation high, and this would ideally have some SMT at the highs, right? So SMT at the highs. So the candle two pretty much takes out the accumulation candles high and forms an SMT, right? So on one asset, it's going to look like this. And then on the other asset, it'll look something like this. This candle closes like this, and one candle closes like this, right? And the third candle that opens up is going to be the candle three, which is going to be the distribution candle. And what does this do? This targets this candle's low and beyond. So you can kind of see how price does this a lot. And there's two situations for this, right? Two situations. Now me personally, this is my favorite situation. When the candle two, so let's say the 6 a.m. candle manipulates the 2 a.m. candle's high, forms an SMT, right, with this high. What do you expect the 10 a.m. candle to do? Open up, accumulate, manipulate, and then distribute, right? And that's where the 10 a.m. candle, that's where the 10 a.m. power of 3 comes into play, right? Because on the higher time frame, we have that mini reversal condition right there, right, forming the high of day. And what does the 10 a.m. power of 3 allow us to do? It allows us to engage with this second stage of distribution, right? I know you learned the market maker models, right, on Q, where the 10 a.m. power of 3 just acts as a second stage of distribution, right, to this higher time frame MMXM starting, right? And what I mean here is, think about it. This candle closes like this, right? It forms a 15-minute for value gap, 1 hour for value gap, something like that, right? And it forms that inefficiency. So what does price do? It opens up at 10 a.m., accumulates, manipulates into, this candle's inefficiency, and then we get that distribution lower. And this is how the 10 a.m. power of 3 functions, right? Now, this is a continuation of the 10 a.m. power of 3, right, where we tap into that, inefficiency, that fair value gap. Let me just mark it out here. We tap into this fair value gap here. Let me just do this real quick. We tap into, let's say, a lower time frame fair value gap here, right? 15-minute, and then we get a change in the state. We take that, and then boom, right? So that's one of the scenarios, right, where the 6 a.m. candle creates the high of day. And then, of course, there's the other scenario where the 10 a.m. candle creates the high of day, where it manipulates both of these, right? And then it pushes lower, right? So pretty much just the same thing where the 6 a.m. candle just stays in that range, right? Or it creates its own range, but it doesn't have any SMT or any significant closure. It takes out this and this. But because there's no SMT at the lows or anything, we'd wait for the 10 a.m. candle to form that, you know, that high or low of day, right? So at that point, the 10 a.m. candle opens up. Then we manipulate that external high, have some sort of SMT up here, right? Well, let's say ES makes a lower low, while the 10 a.m. candle makes a higher high, right? And then we get that reversal. So a price accumulates, manipulates, then distributes, right? Taking out the external high. And this is when we expect, um, so this would be your candle one, then this would be your candle two, and then in a scenario like this, right, where the 10 a.m. candle might not fully go all the way to the drawn liquidity, you can expect the 2 p.m. candle to have the highest probability day, right, where the 2 p.m. candle then becomes a candle three. Like it kind of makes sense, right? You're just pretty much let me just mark this out, and maybe I'll name the candles here. 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., right? So the 10 a.m. candle becomes the candle, quote unquote, two, because that's the high of day which manipulated, right? So it's whatever candle that manipulates the accumulatory candle, right, with SMT. Now, a question you probably have is when the 6 a.m. candle takes the 2 a.m. high, how do we know that that's not the high of day? Now, I need everybody who watches this video, everybody, who's in the call to understand a confirmation is needed before you can make an assumption. Now, I can't say, right, a candle 2 has been put in or a manipulation has been put in without seeing what are 3 reversal conditions. Now, that's what I'm programmed to think of, right? I always need to see a higher time frame for value gap or ERL, right? I always need to see that. I need to see an SMT, right? And then I need to see a lower time frame aligned CISD, right? And these 3 things must be seen before you can actually confirm, right, that the candle is actually a manipulation candle, and then we start the distribution phase. This candle right here had no SMT, right? It didn't even tap into a higher time frame for value gap, let alone had a change in the state delivery. So how can you be sure that this is the candle 2, and how can you be confident that the 10 a.m. candle is just going to distribute without taking out this high? Now, what does the 10 a.m. candle do in this case? It takes out this previous high, creates an SMT, taps into a higher time frame for value gap, and has that CISD on the lower time frame. Now that's a proper manipulation, and that's when I can say the candle 2 is formed, right? And so when you see this 10 a.m. candle closure like this, you can expect the 2 p.m. candle, right, the next 4-hour candle, to do what? To act as the distribution candle. You get what I mean? So I want to, carefully say this so I don't confuse, but it's whatever candle, right, that is, so the candle 2 is always going to be the candle that manipulates to the high of day, right? And after candle 2, you're always going to anticipate what? A distribution. So your highest probability candle will always be candle 3. But of course, you can trade candle 2. It'll just be, um, trading that reversal rather than that continuation. You guys get what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. On cue, does that make sense? Because there's of course different aspects to this where you can combine candle 1, candle 2, candle 3 with daily profiles and protraction profiles, right? Um, and that kind of makes it easier to understand because this actually I'm not going to talk about that because that's just going to fully confuse talking about something people don't kind of know. But my mentorship student right here, Jose, he knows that where the protraction profiles can tie into these concepts, and of course, just like how we trade the 10 AMD model, right, that ties back into the MMXM second stage of distribution, and that ties back into trading that candle 3 on the 10 candle. So if we look at this right here, um, if we look at this right here, why did I say the 10 candle was going to distribute? Why? I said it because what does the 6 a.m. candle do? The 6 a.m. candle on ES takes out this high, forms the SMT. I see that higher time frame, candle body closure, right? I see that higher time frame candle body closure. We have an SMT. We swept out that external, range of liquidity, which is a higher time frame PD array, and that confirms that this is going to be the high of day, at least for the session, right? So, at this point, I had that expectation that the 15-minute candle should distribute towards its drawn liquidity. Now, because we're trading intraday and not the higher time frame, if we have this 4-hour for value gap resting up here, we could continue higher. But when we're trading intraday, we have to see time in a way where it aligns with our time frames. So we're not gonna be like wait for the 4-hour candle close and then, trade at like 3 p.m. It doesn't make sense, right? We have our time based restrictions as well. So we trade intraday based on our restrictions. So we can scalp this little move right here with this SMT and all this and take that position lower. Now, I kind of am skipping too fast, but I mean, I see the significant closure here on ES. On NASDAQ, I like this here. We have that SMT at the highs. There's just a second stage of we don't even have an SMT actually, but I don't mind taking this just because it's been like 30 minutes and we missed both our trades. But it's not a bad, it's not bad. We'll see if we get tapped in. See if we get stopped, or does it just accumulate here? Seems like price is just accumulating. What time is it? 11:25. Okay, so we get stopped here based off an accumulation. I mean, there's probably a re-entry off this 5-minute SSD to be form an SMT. So I mean, there's a re-entry right here off that 5-minute SSD that I kind of missed. That would have probably played out. Let's see. Probably keep your stop loss above this rejection block. Target this. Want to see if this plays out. It does. I mean, it's not bad. It just accumulates here. Whatever. Move on to the next day. So it just like if I'm like okay, I'm gonna be slower next time, so I don't like. So what does price do here? It looks like we're disrespecting this weekly gap after this. So I mean, my drawn liquidity is clearly just continuing lower, and now you can apply that candle logic, right, till all the higher time frames as well. So what does price do here? So I'm gonna tie it back to the candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, right? Now you can clearly see, right, price sweeps out this high, right, into this internal range of liquidity. And what does ES do? It forms that SMT, right, like this. And we get a significant closure back into the range off that higher time frame PD rate. We have an SMT and we have a change in the state of delivery on the aligned time frame, which is, the hourly chart. And now what does price tell me? So we combine all these concepts. So of course we want to go back into the external range of liquidity because we go from internal to external, right? That's one thing. Now if we go back up here, you can clearly see we have that same little trend. I don't know what happened here. But we have that same little trend of, okay, we swept out the accumulation high, right? So this is our candle 1. What does candle 2 do? Candle 2 sweeps out that, internal range of liquidity, taps into that internal range of liquidity, significant closure thing. So what am I anticipating this next daily candle to do? To completely distribute. So this becomes a high probability day. Especially, this is a Friday too. So this is a part of our weekly profiles as well, where I'm anticipating, that Thursday consolidation reversal and then that Friday to just distribute because, Thursday made that high of the week. As you can clearly see, or Monday, I guess. Monday didn't Monday didn't really do much here. I guess it just left its high, but you can clearly see Thursday has that significant closure down below. So I'd anticipate Friday to continue lower off a theory basis. So you could even just do something like this, right? On the daily time frame, you could literally just do something like this. If you're a swing trader, because it all applies, you just take that promotion block, 2R, boom, and it'll play out like 100%. But we are intraday trading, so we get a significant closure here. There's a 2 p.m. candle. Let's move to next day open. I guess I can't. Can I not go forward? I can't go forward? Oh my god. Okay. Is it just bugging out or what? This is disgusting. Let me switch over to TradingView. So unfortunately, we have that. I just want to see if my thesis is correct then. So what day are we on? April 14th. April 14th. So yeah, I mean, what does price do here? We go for that external. I guess price is consolidating here, right? As we know, phase of market delivery, you don't actually know when price is gonna distribute fully, right? But I mean, we do expand. We probably could catch some lower time. I just want to see. So low probability today, 9:30 opens up. All right, so we take this low out during London session. So because our drawn liquidity was this external, right? This would be a low probability day, and you can clearly see what does New York AM session does literally nothing, because our daily objective got taken out with this large range overnight. Your best trade setup would probably be some scalp during London session, like something like this. It's just disgusting. Well, this is Monday, I guess. Oh, so there was a bank holiday or something. The Friday wasn't even what's it called? There was no Friday here. It's kind of weird. But yeah, so maybe that's the reason why we kind of consolidate here. But you can clearly see, right? We'll probably distribute it as low, like I mentioned. I mean, ES won't even be able to open up. Just see here if we form some SMT. We do form more SMT, right, on Thursday, April 21st, with this high here. We tap into a weekly gap. We do tap into a weekly gap, right? Right here. So I mean, you're just waiting. We get an inversion of this one. So I mean, you could clearly see the reaction off this weekly gap, which like 100% confirms that we're gonna go lower. And it's the same process here, where 1, 2, 3, right? And we're in a consolidation here, so it's kind of tough to anticipate when the market's gonna distribute. You can just expect, what the market is gonna do. It's hard to say when the market will go, but I mean, you can apply the same concept here, where this is our candle 1. This is our candle 2 with SMT. We tap into that weekly for value gap. Significant closure. Next candle 3, highest probability day, right? Will just distribute lower, right? So let's see if we can actually take a trade here. We get this SysD. Let's see. Yeah, significant closure. Institutional order flow is clearly, bearish here. Just forward. See if we tap into the internal. No, we don't. 6 p.m. So we go from internal to external. Right now I'm anticipating this liquidity. And this is another example of 1, 2, 3. Right? Where this is your candle 1. Right? This is your candle 1 right here. Candle 2 taps in this gap. Let's see if there's an SMT. Is there an SMT? No SMT. I mean, it still distributes. Let's see YM actually. 1, 2, 3. There's no SMT there. Actually, there is an SMT at the 6 a.m. high, I think. Yeah, there is. So 1, 2, and then 3 here. It's better to just keep. Yeah, so there's an SMT here. So you're anticipating the 10 a.m. candle to distribute here as well. Because we have an internal SMT at these highs as well. So we tap into internal. I'd expect the 10 a.m. candle to just distribute. We go from internal to external. And just because we have this large range here, going for the weekly for value gap, we should just continue lower. Especially when you see, I mean, oops, I kind of spoiled it, but you can clearly see this candle body closure here. This candle closes so close to the bottom of the range, right? Where, we're anticipating a large distribution. And like I mentioned on the higher time frame, that's what it is. Like candle 3 is a very violent distribution and the best day for us to, take a trade. So, I mean, that's 9:45. We tap in that gap. I mean, it's going to be obvious we short from here. YM. SMT on YM. I mean, you could literally just... I can't even go all the way down. Are we serious? Oh my god, this is absolutely disgusting. But I mean, on the lower time frame, you could just literally just do this as well. With that SMT rejected high. I mean, you can make the S look smaller. It's not even letting me go down on the lower time frame. Let me see if I can like minimize it lower. See, I mean, this CISD level, 30 minutes, let's see. 30 minutes SDs, we form that SMT. Significant closures, I mean, you take this, let's see, market. Does it not let me sell? Oh. I mean, just anticipating that push, right? Especially after these 10 a.m. candle. And we can see on the hard time frame. We form another SMT. I don't think we form any 4-hour SMT, but we form an hourly SMT possibly with this high here. I'm pretty sure. No, I guess we don't. But I mean, just the weakness is just so evident there. Where, you're just anticipating price to keep pushing lower. And that's what price does. So these are the highest probability days, the candle 3s. And honestly, that's going to be a big thing I hope you guys learn from today's session. I apologize for it to, being a very sketch, especially with this FX replay. My Tradeful, like the regular app that I use to backtest, my account, there's something wrong with my account. So, I'm kind of dealing with, that on the back end. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's kind of a bug with affiliate accounts, whatever. So I'm just on the free version of FX Replay. It's kind of terrible. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that mini lecture was pretty good. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I feel like, I mean, that candle 1, 2, 3 is, I would say, a little bit advanced to apply, right? But once you get the hang of it and just keep seeing it, like it's just all about repetition and practice and just programming your mind to see it. Because literally, for me, the way my brain works is when I see, like, I could see, the internal and external snap of my fingers. I could see the 10 a.m. power of 3 playing out without even marking it out. All of these things are just ingrained in my brain, right? And I kind of do get a little bit excited and just, I think I have to work on myself as an educator to slow down a little bit, right? Just because, um, you know, I have to work on that. I see that. I have to reflect on that and get better at that. But what I'm teaching you guys is the real deal stuff, right? Um, and this is how I pretty much applied and just I've programmed my brain over the past like 3 years just to see all of this, right? Anticipating the best days of distribution, significant closures, internal to external. I'm pairing all of these together, right? And for me,